All right, it's time for the C's. There are plenty, and C is for comedy, and there's a lot of comedic records. This one, I guess, could be considered one. The California Raisins, sweet, delicious, and marvelous. My sister and I had this on cassette when we were kids, so this is just kind of a nostalgia addition to my collection. Now we get into George Carlin. My dad owned these first three records, which made my dad pretty cool, in my opinion, seeing these in his collection. I've added two, the Carlin vinyl, and I've got most of them on CD as well. Okay, now we get to the Cars, featuring the recently passed Rick Ocasek on vocals. We've got a original master recording deluxe edition of the debut. We've got Candy-O, Panorama, Shake It Up, another original master recording. Those are limited edition, super high quality vinyl releases. My favorite, Heartbeat City, and their final album, Move Like This. Then we get to the Johnny Cash portion of my collection, which there is a lot of. They are probably not in chronological order, but they're on different labels, and some are original releases, some are reissues. So there's just kind of a Johnny Cash section to go through. I do have some more modern after we get out of the 70s and 80s. Rockabilly Blues. I've got one of the American recordings and the last one. I had more of those at one time, but again, sold a couple because they were going for a lot of money. All right, this is Terry Cashman's Talkin' Baseball. This is another song that makes me think of Saturday mornings watching Major League games and This Week in Baseball. I wish there was baseball right now. Now we have a bunch of Ray Charles. Again, probably not in proper order. Portrait of Ray, obviously not drawn by himself. And then Greatest Hits. All right, then another favorite, Cheap Trick. Their debut album, I have two copies. They have different labels on those, different release editions. In color, regular, and another one of those audio fidelity repressings. We've got Heaven Tonight, At Budokan, Dream Police. Found All the Parts, and All Shook Up 101, next position please. And we're in the 80s. You may notice the omission of The Doctor. I don't like that album. There's Lap of Luxury. Now we've got more comedy, Cheech and Chong, Wedding Album, and Greatest Hit, which I remember borrowing from my cousins on cassette. Probably at an earlier age than I should have been. All right, Chicago Farmer, signed copy of Back and Forth, Illinois. Cody was nice enough to do an episode of Drunken Lullabies and perform live on the show twice. So add that on the wall for a really long time. Got Tyler Childers, picked that up at his show last year. Couple children's classics, of course, Chipmunk Punk. Probably one of the first records I had as a kid. We've got Churches or Churches, Cinderella, Long Cold Winter's my favorite. City and Color. Have three City and Color records. Got to see him at the Monarch as well. And now the Clash portion. I do have a notable omission. I do not have Sandista in my collection. Eddie Cochran, Joe Cocker, signed Coheed and Cambria, met Claudio in Chicago years ago. And a couple more from Coheed. All right. Now we have Coldplay. and all of their albums. Until there. And we've got Bootsy Collins, so him at Riot Fest. Phil Collins, the colorist, the Commodores, and a bunch of Alice Cooper. Again, my dad had some of these. This was in his, so was School's Out. That one was not. Neither was that. But what was cool about his $1 Billion Babies copy was it still had that dollar bill in it. And then most recent one, I've seen Alice probably 4 times. And then some more comedy, some old school Bill Cosby. Grew up listening to those as well. This one I'm intrigued, knowing what we know now. All right, so that's Bill Cosby. This whole stack is nothing but Elvis Costello. Another favorite of mine, seen him twice. My Aim is True, and an original master recordings reissue. Same for that one. Get Happy. Armed Forces, Almost Blue. You may recognize some of these price tags on here from different shops in the area. Still working through the 80s. And then we jump ahead. That was the first time I saw him, was on that tour with my buddy Brent Stortzum. And some more of the modern ones. And then these are just a bunch of 12-inch singles that I don't have worked in sequential. This is for Green Shirt on green vinyl. But just different ones from the 80s era with some B-sides on them. At one time, these were on sale at Co-op Records, but nobody bought them for the price I wanted. So they're still in my collection. We have Creedence, Chronicle, Crime in Stereo, great band that reminded me a lot of Brand New. Never heard of them. Check this record out. It is awesome. Peter Criss, the drummer from Kiss, Out of Control. Exactly. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And then Deja Vu when they still had Neil Young with them. This is the Crosses album spread across 3 10-inch records. That was a really good side project to Chino from Deftones. Disintegration, my favorite album by The Cure, regular release and deluxe remaster. Then Standing on the Beach, the singles, all mixed up, the remix album. 413 Dream, I don't think they've had a new album since then. And then Cursive, Happy Hollow. All right, that's going to do it for the C's. We'll see you next time.